babe. What are you doing?
Oh, I'm going camping.
What do you mean?
Well, I've got some free time off in the middle of the week, so I'm going camping.
You said you were going to cut that tree down in the backyard.
Well, and Tony's got some free time as well, so we thought we'd just head off on a Wednesday for just a quick night. We're going to the Upper Murray River, which is up the back of Petualangan in Western Australia, and we're going to take the Albany Highway up there through Boddington.
Cool.
Yeah, so just me and Tony, just for mates' night out.
Taken us 2 hours to get here. It should take you less time, but we took a lot of wrong turns. This is the first contact with the Murray River. It is the Tumlo Tank area, and you should see this on most good GPSs and maps. The bridge in the picture there is the old railway bridge from the logging days. You used to be able to drive across it, but I wouldn't want to take a vehicle over that thing now. You can still walk it, however. What I'm walking across right now is the Tumlo Crossing. Now, I have come across this before in the dead middle of winter, and I'll show you a bit of footage from what the crossing looked like then. We were going to attempt to cross it from the side you could currently see me running up, but that wasn't going to work out. So apparently it was pretty cold that time as well. But you can see the huge amount of water that's there compared to this time. I mean, it's up to his waist there, and as you see him step back to the left of the screen, you'll see it come up to almost the height of his rib cage. So I think we would have got swept away. Not this time though. Not even a risk of getting the carpets wet here. So we're fishing for redfin. Now I tried telling Tony he should bring a fishing rod, but he was convinced that full Neanderthal was the way to go.
I'm using this little buddy. That fella there, looks like a little marron. I think it's probably a bit shallow. But hey, it's fishing. Just chuck it in. We've decided this log's just gagging for a good cast, so I'm gonna chuck the line in around the log.
Of course, I've forgotten the disclaimer here. I don't pretend to know anything about fishing. All I did was go to BCF and tell the bloke I wanted to catch redfin. And he gave me the proper setup. And you reckon it looks like I'm having trouble? Things like this put Tony on his ass probably 3 or 4 times during the trip, and once into the river. Well, no luck with the fishing at that area, so we just followed the track on down the river. There are many little areas that pull off the track like this one, which just lead to a small area to park your car, maybe set up your swag or your tent, and of course try throwing the fishing rod in. Well, I mean, don't throw the whole rod in. You're only supposed to throw the sharp end in. You keep hold of the other end. Sometimes you just get to a spot though and you don't want to do a thing. This was one of those spots. We probably sat on that log for about an hour, having a few drinks, feet in the water, and had a bit of lunch before we moved on. Didn't even touch the fishing rods at this location. Now here's something I really didn't expect at this time of year. There was actually still some mud around. Turns out Tony's not one to shy away from a bog hole. Now I hate bog holes. I'll avoid them wherever I can. Not that I don't like the mud, it's just that I hate the cleanup. Also, Tony received a bit of damage in this bog hole somehow. A couple of small dents just under his sills. Well, after 3 shots at it, the white flag comes out. Tony unspools the winch. You can see him hooking it up to the back of my patrol there. We did have a winch dampener blanket somewhere, but rather than bother finding that, we just threw a couple of jumpers and jackets over it. All does the same job in the end. After driving puddles of mud on the track along the river all morning, I noticed some contour lines on the GPS that suggested some steep terrain and possibly a hill climb. So we took a detour to see what it was all about. We were presented with a bit of a problem finding a campsite for the night. Not because there wasn't enough of them, because there was too many to choose. We ended up settled into this place just down this hill climb, right on the bank of the Murray River.
We're going to start a fire with this. Wait. And this. The old flint spark there. Check out that. Now, I've done this one time before, and that one time my brother chucked the biggest log in history on it and snuffed the fire. So we're going to use a bit of this paper bark behind me. Try and use that for tinder.
Somebody was good enough to leave a fire pit made of bricks for us, so we used the depression in one of these bricks to put our tinder in. I think this might be the secret to starting a fire with a flint, as the depression in the brick lets more air get into the tinder from underneath.
Yes. You get my front of it. Easy. Who'd have thought without matches we could go full out Bear Grylls with the Bear Grylls Ultimate. You better be happy, Bear Grylls. That was a free plug.
Of course, after a long day of cruising around the bush and lazing around the river, what did we have to do? Just laze around the fire some more. The fish weren't putting out today. This reflected badly on my dinner plans and meant that it was just a tin of baked beans for me. I did throw together a chocolate damper from a packet mix. That helped to lift the spirits a little. Talkative blokes, eh? Nothing much happens in the morning without the coffee first. As I said on my Instagram account, this tastes as good as barista coffee when consumed by a campfire. Still no fish on the bite. We really had to kick things up a notch after this. The flies came in, and we had to move on before we went crazy.
These things are badass. Look at them all chilling on the swag there. We've even come to the extreme point where we're going to throw some green stuff on the fire to try and get more smoke.
Where do we get some green stuff from?
We'll find a...
Over that way. There you go.
Yeah.
Go the machete.
Go the machete. See how smoky that gets. That should discourage them a bit.
Well, a few green branches on the fire, combined with about half a can of insect repellent, gave us just enough break to pack up and get away from the flies. Yeah, I know, the patrol's a bit smoky on startup there. I know that black smoke is normal. I don't know about the white puffs in there though. If you reckon you know anything about that, perhaps you could leave us a comment or a suggestion. Some of the tracks can get a bit tight. It's years of this sort of driving that can wear your paintwork a bit thin. It wasn't long before we came to the bridge, which marks our turn-off for the return to Dwelling Up. At this point of the morning, we were tonguing for a good bakery feed. The drive out of here and back to Dwelling Up is smooth and simple gravel. The gravel section takes about 20 minutes, and then it's probably another 10 to the Dwelling Up town centre. If you want to read a story about this trip or see some more photos, head to my blog, intenseoffroad.com. If you are thinking of planning your own trip to the area and you subscribe to my blog, you can have access to the free downloads section where I will put all the GPS tracks and waypoints. Well, thanks for taking the time to have a look at my first video. Give us a thumbs up if you enjoyed it and click subscribe if you're keen to see some more.